Thursday the 15th of August 2013, and I'm down in Hollingbourne, Kent, about to undertake a circular walk of Hollingbourne. And what I plan to do is to combine two walks, a 6 miler and an 8 miler, making 14 obviously, so that I can recce them for downlanders. Weather's grey at the moment, but no rain is forecast this afternoon, which is excellent. Very balmy, quite warm, mid-20s, but as I say, mixed sunny intervals at the moment, which is excellent. It's about 12 noon, as I say, I've got about 14 miles to pack in. Ideal world I would be on the 1809, but I can't see that happening somehow. So I'm more likely to be the 10 to 7, I'd imagine, which is a slower service back via Oxford. Let's press on. So immediately opposite the station building here, which is a bit of a run-down, dilapidated place, operated by Southeastern. Got this little track here, which we follow. Text refers to a stile, that's no longer. Likewise on the opposite side, note the tractor tyre, facilitating the crossing of that, whatever it is, scaffold. We don't actually cross that scaffold and tyre, but continue right, emerging into a field. The scenery around Hollingbourne station, which no doubt we'll be crossing later. Ahead of me though, you can always hear the buzz of the M20, the busy M20, which is getting closer as I go through that gate there. Following the track down to the Muzzlestone area, point A marked on the map. The map I'm using is a heritage trail around Hollingbourne. And here we have the high-speed train line from London to Dover, Canterbury, Ramsgate, etc. And the noisy M20 just behind that embankment over in the distance there. The grassy path, which has recently been cut, that leads up past Maidstone services. Pleasant rustic scene as we move away now from the railway line and the noisy M20. Just walking through a wooded section here, just having recorded the first mile down, and look at this, look how dry and cracked the ground is. Pretty typical of Kent. High pressure on the water table here. This is a particularly littered section of the walk, and it's because we're next to the service station here on my left. Litter everywhere. Crossing over the Victoria to Ashford line that I arrived on. Walking through the ancient woodland, officially, of Snarkhurst Wood, marked on the map. Point B, coming up shortly. Okay, so there we have it. The creature that I've yet to see. I know it is around in Kent, but there you go. Be careful around here by the looks of it. Been waiting to see this animal for a while. Might get to see it today. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, because I'm not quite sure how a boar would react, I haven't seen one again. Now coming out into the open, but I guess it's appropriate that wild boar should be in an ancient forest. Then come out into this field of lovely flowers. Looks like ragwort amongst others. It's full of butterflies. And a nice crimson one on the side there, as usual, with that sort of colour, very popular with the bees. Look at that, eh? Delightful. Peacocks Yeah, lots of peacocks over there. They seem to like ragwort, if it is ragwort. There you go, there's a couple. Can't quite get them into clear focus, but they're everywhere. Crickets or grasshoppers, as you can hear. Wonderful. Then you come past this lovely field of a kind of thistle. I think it is anyway. It's got those white heads on it that fly off the seeds. It's full of butterflies again and bees. Seems to be popular with the cabbage white. The scenery at point C on the map, the 5 wents, which means the 5 ways in Old English apparently. And on this solitary oak next to the 5 wents, another further warning about wild boar. And there you go, the 5 ways. Our onward journey is diagonally left past the corner of that wood. Walking through a field of one of my favourite foods here, broad beans. Approaching point D on the map, the former Ripple Manor. Or at least I think that's southwest. I haven't got my compass out, but it's about right, I guess. As a jet passes over, must be coming out of where? Gatwick, I presume. Interesting footpath marker here. Turnham, I think it says. And confirmation that it was indeed Ripple Manor. It's now a farmstead. Ascending the country lane just past the property known as Whitehall on the map. Not as much hot air coming out of that building as there is in London. Okay, we come out onto the relatively busy Pilgrim's Way, I'm told. We have a byway here on my left that leads up to the North Downs Way. But as I say, our onward journey at the moment is along this tarmacked Pilgrim's Way, which is the lower of the 2 routes. View towards Hollingbourne ahead of me, which is where I think I'll take lunch. Field of rape here on my right, which I started to cut and then left for some reason. So walking through the village or hamlet of what is currently known as Broad Street, but there's evidence to indicate that it used to be known as El Northington, apparently. All this information can be googled, or you can refer to the leaflet that I'm using on the Kent County Council website, Hollingbourne Circular Heritage Walk. Views up to the downs next to Allington Farm on the map from the Pilgrim's Way, which I think if I do this walk again I shall do on the North Downs Way next time and come down by Allington Farm on the map. Just saves quite a bit of road walking. We're going to come off the road in a minute, but there is quite a bit of road walking here, albeit quiet. Now for some reason the suggested route takes me off the Pilgrim's Way there for a circuit around this field. Wheat field. So in future again I might cut this out. Just done 4 miles, averaging 19 minutes a mile. So 3 miles an hour, fairly standard. By coming away from the Pilgrim's Way, however, you get a different vista of the North Downs. Just a reminder there that we're not far from the railway line either. Passing another host, one of the features of Kent, just on the fringes of Hollingbourne village now. Nice vista backwards from whence I've walked. As I say, I do think it'd be better next time to go up onto the North Downs Ridge, just to reduce the road walking. So memo to self there. Now following a very narrow footpath wedged between a hedge and a fence, back up to the Pilgrim's Way. Pilgrim's Way brings you out immediately opposite the Dirty Habit pub, which is a good name for a pub, and that would make a good lunchtime stop. It's also right next to the North Downs Way, which is going to be my onward journey, which deviates slightly from the suggested route, but I have my reason for doing this, just to make it more interesting, that is, basically. Hollingbourne Manor House. What a great building that is. Hollingbourne Church, where I'm about to have my lunch. Coming up 2 o'clock, as you can see there. So I've been walking for almost exactly 2 hours. All Saints Hollingbourne. What a great entrance. And from another angle. And so far I haven't found a seat in this graveyard. Well, here it is. One solitary chair in front of a number of what look like freshly dug graves. A bit eerie this. Might go into the storm porch. Yeah, it's a little bit more welcoming in here. Someone's practicing on the organ. Not very well. Okay, 2:30. Lunch has been had. And this is the interior of All Saints Hollingbourne. Some great stained windows over there. And as you can see from this inscription in the storm porch, a complete overhaul of the church took place between those 6 years. Actually says 1972 on the door arch on the interior, but there you go. Not going to quibble over a year, are we? So stood next to the Dirty Habit again. Information panel here about chalk and chestnuts. Sort of stuff you can see on the downs. Just checked the menu board and very pricey. About £7 for a sandwich. So it might be a dirty habit, but certainly ain't cheap. Okay, this next section of North Downs Way walking is not on the official route map that I'm following today, but I've decided to add it in for variety, and just simply because it makes sense. Field of wheat here being cut and baled already. Certainly don't hang around these days, do they? And the field on my left is being cut as I walk past. The old class combine there. Wheat again here. Product that I'm now trying to avoid. Moved over to rye bread now. So there you go, as the wind picks up now. Lovely North Downs backdrop there. As I see in the distance a buzzard floating above the wheat field. Pretty easy walking here underfoot, away from the tarmac now. Shouldn't think this will even be much of a problem in the depths of winter either. Just about to enter High Wood on the map. Some great views here on my right, and some jays in the background squawking. Lots of forest clearance going on here on my right, so that there's some deviation away from the original text that I was following, but nonetheless the way is clear if you follow this main track. That's why I couldn't find the original right turn mentioned in the text, but not to worry, get to the same point and enjoy these splendid views as well. Interesting, CCTV out here in the middle of nowhere. Can't get away from this stuff. This woodland on my right is relatively modern, 20th century according to the notes I'm reading, whereas the woodland on the left is ancient, i.e. older than 1600 AD. And this is the very pleasant lane that I've just walked up, or byway to be precise, which means motorbikes etc. could be coming up at any time. You can see the difference here, how this wood looks very regimented and not as unkempt as an ancient wood, which is why I had my doubts about the walk at Broxbourne a few weeks ago. That wood didn't look ancient despite being described as such. This wood was developed for game shooting and all that sort of stuff, apparently. Over there on the map, point E, Drake's Lane, known locally, was a World War II foxhole, by all accounts. Here is an example of a foxhole, which I've discovered inadvertently. Underground living accommodation, really. Evidence of what looks like a bomb blast here, bomb crater. So clearly the Germans possibly knew of this foxhole. Walking down yet another shaded byway. Apparently round about me, lots of evidence of mining shafts. This area has got lots of connections with Drake, Francis Drake that is. Drake Lane Wood being just behind me. First bit of mud today. The whole of the walk thus far has been bone dry, as you saw earlier, with the ground cracking. Here, however, still got some mud. So in winter, this particular Drake's Lane Wood could be very muddy. Bear that in mind. Scenery around point 25 of the text. Bit different now. Still very pleasant though. Over there on my left, point 26 of the text refers to the ancient woodlands of Mordendon Wood, which you can Google as per usual. Used to be a large 50-acre plantation of ancient woodland, massively reduced after the Second World War. Once lost, it can never be replenished, and the ecological benefits of ancient woodland are not found in the woodland that replaces it. Point 26 of the text still, and over on my right in the far distance you can see that eyesore of the array. So that's the North Kent coast out there, and we're all the way inland, not far from Maidstone. What an eyesore that is. Anyway, that's at maximum zoom and it works fine. Thank the Lord. It's the easily missed footpath into the woods referred to in point 26 of the text. Having come across from that path, clearly marked with a restricted byway sign. The path clearly isn't used much. Takes you past Cooper's Farm, somewhere over there on the left, per the map. That is one very overgrown section of footpath, with a dean hole in there as well, I noticed. Would be much easier just to walk along this field edge if you could find where these overhead pylons, sub-pylons, meet the road. You'd avoid all those brambles. The water tower at White Post, about 175 metres here. Now entering the Woodland Trust's Hucking estate. And this walk has been notably one of byways, and wooded ones at that. Lovely. Very pleasant woodland walking through Chits Wood, as we saw, managed by the Woodland Trust. Right, confusingly, you got a number of North Downs Way opportunities here, straight on. Or, as I think is my direction, take a left through that gate into the scrubby woodland. Lots of clearance work been going on along this section of the North Downs. As you can see, smoke's still burning over there. So here we are, Hollingbourne Downs, and what a fantastic view this is on on a fantastic day. Just down below me there is the farm I passed earlier this morning, Big Arlington Farm. So you can see pretty much the walk we did earlier, past that cornfield. There's the oast houses over there. Wonderful. The old combine's busy cutting over there somewhere. I can see the dust coming up. Pretty windy up here, as you can imagine. About 200 metres up. Shame about the transmission line there, but too bad. Just over there is Hollingbourne and its church where I had lunch. And as you can see in the distance there, plenty of greenhouses. Also evidence here of gun emplacements. Apparently this area was used extensively for home guard training. Eden's Hole was one such place. Further shots of those lovely views. Start to descend now. Views back along the ridge that I've just walked from, and then further views of the ridge beyond. Fantastic, just an hour away from London. The church at Hollingbourne from up on high. The village is well protected by trees when you look down on it. North Downs Way turns right now into Hollingbourne village. Passing the property known as Manor Mill, which has a whole history behind it in itself. So if you want to Google that or look at the text that I'm using again. And we've just come past the church, my lunchtime stop, on the way to the station now. It's 5:30, so I'm doing well. And I've just been told by my phone that I've just done 12 miles. It's not quite as far as I thought or predicted. Looking back at Hollingbourne Church with its downland backdrop, what a lovely vista that is. And this river running over there on my left. So here we are, back at Hollingbourne, just in time for the 17:46, which is delayed by 5 minutes. So I will be able to get that. That was a wonderful walk. A nice 13 mile approximately, as I haven't had a confirmation of that from my phone yet. 13 mile circular. Just under 6 hours walking time with filming obviously and taking photos. So it could probably easily be done in 5.5. As predicted, it didn't rain. Very pleasant day actually. And I'm pleasantly refreshed. So that's another walk that I've created for the Downlanders. Get that into the calendar shortly. Wonderful.